right, so let's get into the sun, moon, and stars, since the Artemis 2 is going around the moon, supposedly in that figure 8 fashion, and we're in that 8th year of the woman clothed in the sun. So, as all these things are aligning, that Hollywood projection came out in 1910, 1911. The motion picture came out before that, that secret garden. So this is where that Garden of Eden is being opened up, that Lord God, this light, all those things, all right? And then 1910, 1911, and the 9/11 is here now with the 45-47. But then you also had the 9/11 and 2001 after the millennium. So as all these things are going, the Elvis, King Spirit, you had the tree of life or knowledge of good and evil that couldn't be given, the cannabis, and then you had the TV, and all these things work in increments, all right? So the devil's music, not just I'm not talking about the music that he plays necessarily, although we've been told by Marilyn Manson and looking back on Michael Jackson or whatever, these things can program the brain and transform the brain and all whatever else. So this is where the music we're given is doing things and altering things, and we are energetic, creative beings, and these things are coming within us, and the light carries information, and as light gathers into a black hole, it condenses in on itself once it gets to the bottom, and then we're at that bottom, that flat earth area, so to speak, and then as it's a living consciousness or whatever, it has to have something to create the consciousness to understand it. It's where we are manifesting this world and this sun and moon and such. And when you look at the sun and moon and you study these things from here, and you know it's just a flat circle, and it's always this and this at all times, no matter how you see it, there's something going on here. And when you go out and sun gaze and you stare at the sun for a bit, you'll see that it's an electric ball, and it's like doing all kinds of crazy shit or whatever, right? So this kind of takes me to the yin yang, the black and white within the white and black, and it's spinning or whatever, and they become one and whatever. And this is where we're at with the magnetism and the positive and negative, and the Jesus and the Satan and the Lucifer being cast down as the light's divided, but the light is coming back to where Lucifer, so to speak, is regaining his level back into heaven, and that ties into that capitalistic system, that light turning on bright that you worship in, that America as you're going into the land of the dream, that darkness that's been there is where the dream walker, the dream turns on and away, and that's when the light that you've actually been under turns on. But it's, oh man, but either way, the sun and moon, they're within all of us, and they are a collective consciousness, and it is very possible that we can be creating space over time in a way, and it's very possible that man could have built that sun. It's very possible, man, the truth is stranger than fiction, folks, and what they're telling us, what we're seeing as far as what comes out of us and these things is a collective consciousness of past time, and that's where the past time is playing out through us to take us into the time such as was not since the beginning, because the beginning is declared from the end. So this is where, as it does this, it gives it the Big Bang session, the mushroom clouds, the fungi, the bombs, all those things all come around the earth, takes out 80%, 80-20 rule. This has already happened on a physical level, through the spirit, through the right hand, which is connected to your heart. It's already happened, as the H1N1 gave you those wings to fly. And now the RNA is that serpent of the woo-hoo that takes you up that pole. And now the pole is being set through the red and the blue, through the compass. And they tell you on the so-called one projection that the South Pole doesn't get the 24-hour sun. And then they tell you, oh, we gone down here where it gets 24-hour sun. So these are these little overlays of time and space that we are in, and where all heresy, the her I see with the Mother Earth and the mothership and these feminine spirits that can come and control and give birth to things. Because the woman, the feminine spirit, is the one who controls the mothership in a way, and then the man is the one who controls this inside of it. And that's where you get the yin and yang, and the male and female, and one is within the other. And then you have now in these days where you have the breast milk, and then we live in a test of things when we're sending out signals to space supposedly, and the Voyager, all these things. This is when things of the earth were coming, and we had soy milk being brought, and we had this kind of schedule being brought, or whatever, right? And then some parents kept going deeper, or all those things, okay? So this is where some of us has been taken off the man and given to the mother, all right? People like myself was supposedly couldn't handle the milk or whatever was going on according to the story, but I had to have soy milk. So there was a point in time when the food and stuff wasn't all contaminated. But this is where this one set of aliens were here on the old spectrum, and now you have this new set of aliens here coming in with the ultra processed foods and whatever else. Where the alien stuff, the multi-species planet that Elon Musk is talking about, or he says that the planet species or whatever, but he says in a little, I'm gonna post a video on this, but this is part of those times we're going into, as you're being told that aliens have already had that secret hybrid session, all right? And then people like myself actually have had stories where seeing the mothership, or me and my brother there in the woods staring down at this pond, right? And all of a sudden this huge black thing in the woods, it had like some white stripes on it or whatever, but it just came out of the wood. It was like all of a sudden there, and he got up with a shotgun, blah blah blah, in my ear. I was like, what the? And then it was gone. But this sucker was huge, and there was no way that the amount of noise that it came and the size of all these things, that it just snuck up on us, because we're in like some heavy woods or whatever kind of thing. But they're either way. Seen the so-called mothership, Life and the 8 Witnesses. I have seen many orbs, silent craft over the backyard, all kinds of things, y'all. So I've told you all these stories before, but not everybody has the same experience. I've seen 5 meteors, some close, some far, like within like a few hundred yards or mile or whatever kind of thing, depending on which one. But it wasn't just some shooting star. It's basically what I'm telling you. And then one was basically so close, I saw a green one and a red one actually, but it was so close where I had to go and I'm gonna go find that rock kind of thing. So as your black hole is collecting consciousness, this is where you have the man taken from the woman and given back to the earth in different ways, and where you've had it in a pure form, and then it's become contaminated in a way as the consciousness is collapsing in on itself in a way, and the black hole is growing, and it has to preserve itself also, but then in a way it doesn't have to preserve itself, because it's going into a whole new type of system and a whole new type of life. And this is where these things, we're looking back. Evolution and the story of creation can both be correct in a way, as far as the light at the black hole giving birth, the darkness upon it, all those things, right? We're told. And over time, it gathers this light. And then as light comes in and forms and whatever, it creates our world. And then slowly this organism is manifested and whatever else. So then the story of creation, or the story of Adam and the Lord and these things, the 6,000 years supposedly, this can be where our level of consciousness is now. Then another level of consciousness came when the so-called Jesus and these different prophets and whoever, setting up different so-called sons of God and whatever, because you're in the star system and these things are colliding and intermingling and all these things as the black hole is sucking in whatever. And there may have been something where you may get these massive changes in times where the black hole is just normally just sucking in light, right? And it stays pretty calm. But this is where maybe it has sucked in a galaxy in a way. And this is where you start seeing these rocks come here, these rocks come here, and then eventually you get the so-called asteroid belt that we're told about. And this asteroid belt could come and manifest through us as far as the nuclear powers and those types of things. But we also seen this nuclear power take place. So this is where, as well, when God, it says that God rests, this could be when a period that the black hole got into a time frame where there was no light around it and whatever. And we're told that the galaxy's ever expanding and whatever else, right? So, we can be bringing knowledge with us from the light or the solar system or galaxy or whatever that was sucked into that black hole in that kind of spectrum, all right? And then you also see on that the bell, as far as that Big Bang and the universe or whatever, you have the flat earth here or whatever, and then that bell system comes off, all right? That could be the beginning of the black hole, right? And then we're down here and then it pushes out of birth, but as it pushes out of birth, it's within itself, all right? And then it expels the old stuff, all right? So to those who have the eyes and ears to listen for the expels and your exit and the Xmas versus Christmas, okay, it's all there in front of you. The Elohim, the Elon him, and the Elon star state, the Lone Star State, the TX, the TXS, Texas. All right, folks. Well, we'll end it here because you got time and space within you, and it's all collapsing in as that serpent seed is cracking open. All right, and you're gonna be, who got that? Who around me? Who is that old man? The nuts shall shrivel soon enough.